Hello, 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 and welcome to this Monday stream. This is supposed to be on Sundays, but something came up, so we're doing it on Monday. Bit late, but I want to get trial started, so we're doing it now. So without further ado, we are continuing with episodes 4. We're continuing with episode 4. The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro and On Trial Part 1. 20th February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey, the President's Antechamber. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? We are on a study tour of Great Britain, with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning. Who's this? Oh. Ah, great. My voice is gonna die. Okay. Ah, Mr. Natsume. Good morning. Oh dear. Are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain. I forgot my voice for him. Okay. Yes, I've heard that expression. But I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was worried I couldn't catch a wink. And now, I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. Do all literary people take things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble. Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It was like the opening night at the opera. There are so many people. I had no idea my case was as a notorious affair here in London. Oh, neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Miss Susato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence then, is it? Don't hide the truth from me. It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Band 6. Is that right, Mrs. Sato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning. And yes, Lord Band 6 is on the front page of every one. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper at the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now. In fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Band 6's return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGilded. Ugh, what a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's. But we wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they are all speculating various answers. Mundane? Mundane is the most significant saga of the century for some of us. Well, lest we also forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this famous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Oh, whoops, forgot I had it muted the entire time. There you go. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, it's you. Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times, it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper. That's not really the case here. Please, I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers. I'm afraid that there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naruhodo, of your uncommon bad luck. Well, thanks for that, Susato. Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such frail fortune? By the least lucky lawyer alive. Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Ah. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student, new to London, with little in the way of experience or skills or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end. And I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Oh, benevolent locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. You are not alone with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Oh, benevolent non-locum assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquires. I am in your debt. Forever. I shall not forget this. Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your kindly make your way into the courtroom at once. Alright then, Mr. Natsume. It's time. Let's go. Yes! Right now, I was just checking something. Okay, here we go. Right, here we go. This is it. My second appearance in a British courtroom. And my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because this time, I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago. A mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Sato-san. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. Very true. And a most fascinating if dark trial it was too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted and his unfortunate violent end. Thank you, counsels. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public? You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone. Well, I must warn you, I'm a little more ruthless than I appear. Oh, well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. I'm afraid to say that I think it's quite possible that Mustard's partner did the deed. Come on, what are you waiting for? No doubt you did it anyway. Sorry. Didn't quite catch that. Very well. Let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Band 6. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused of the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, this student is accused of a most sinister act. Of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. A knife crime? Telling from bitter experience, those are the worst, to the oath they are. Just look at that sallow complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Come on, let's get this over with. With me, Nair. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, didn't quite catch that. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hallowed chalice here in this great chamber. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Very well. Philip, lead the inspector in, please. Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson. Wait, no, I think even like sorry, Tobias Gregson? No. Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. Would you please summarize the events of this case for the court, Inspector? The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. I beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be? Yes. Having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since. What? So don't even know who she is for sure? Comatose. I see. But her life's not in danger. Fortunately for the innocent student, the charge will not be murder. Pray elaborate on the details, Inspector. Sir, if I could ask everyone to look at this street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, at around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. It had not long since stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she is currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. For being unconscious she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please. Right, let's investigate that, thank you. Incident report details young woman rendered unconscious following a stab in the back. Victim, all green, female, stout built, early 20s, location pavement of Briar Road East Side, reporting officer Rolly Beat. The victim remains conscious, her name was clean from her personal effects, other details are unknown. Okay. What of the weapon that was used? Sir, I had that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch, that big thing is starting to make me scared of walking the street now. With a heavy blade like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman. Even a ragged-looking Saseki-san, I suppose. A common garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence. Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? The tip is missing. Oh, look here, Miss Naruhodo. Just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. You're right. Well spotted, Mrs. Sato. Wonder what could have happened to it. Yes, you don't think it could still be lost in the victim, do you? Oh dear, I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful. There's a chip mark on the back of it. No, that's about the indentation. From what we could tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems she's a poor student herself. I'd imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord. I see, but in that case, are you looking at some deep-seated resentment toward the victim? I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the dependent Mr. Natsume doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
Yes!
Don't interject right now, that's impolite. I'm not saying that what I read about.
Objection!
Objection! Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. But your words have soured this hallowed bouquet. For it is you, my lord friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not aggress people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student. Yes, sir. Right, we'll save here. As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred. There was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran up, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from a bookstop, it seems. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Old books, you say? Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here at the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the incident. Ah, yes. I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. I will take that photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector. Right, let's examine that. You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat. Denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, forgive me, Lord Van Six, but the defendant is not denying everything as you put it. What are you doing, Mrs. Sato? Do go on. Mr. Natsumi has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruto? Well, not to mention it, I wish Lieutenant Priscilla say he did tell us what happened. A green overcoat. But that's exactly what the woman in the print is wearing. Oh my, a photograph printed full color. What will the world come up with next? The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of the terrible incident. I mean, it's the defendant's words against, actual clear evidence, so it doesn't really hold much. That does not mean that he's guilty of his crime signed the woman in the back. There was nobody else there at the time. Just two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there's nobody else who could possibly stab the woman. A fact that the accused concedes. It is his cross-examinable group pivotal counsel. Proceed, please. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Right, let's check our evidence to see if do we can we present anything. How do you go about this? Which part? I guess we could press this.
Hold it!
The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Yes, so I understand. Shop full of old English literature. I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of this scholarly attention. The Bloke's room was stacked for the ceiling with those musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? Well, if I must, I have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. The closest second bookshop to the accused of collecting space here, Bourbon Books. They're placed on the corner of Briar Road and Meerschaum Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in the audience on the other side of Briar Road on the opposite end. This means it doesn't take a genius to work out that route he would take it home. Something like this. Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant will certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop. Mr. Naruhodo, think that what the Inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance. Yes, I agree. Most more important to be made being... If you look at the court record, I said it was Bourbon Books, right? But you see, it's Yore Books, so it's like... The book's has the name. Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favor? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe? Oh, well, you know, I mean, yes, it's gonna be a very important clue. Very well, not that I can see it being of any great significance, but please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. Can I be any more sardonic?
Objection!
If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson. What is it, sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know. This is a receipt that we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books. And you found that in the accuser's room, did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Yore Books. Yore Books? Y-O-R-E, I presume? Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at the second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. What? Inspector, do you know of this other bookshop? Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand shop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's just a small place. I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection!
But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant was visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Objection!
Check. Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchases musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
Objection!
Objection, it changes where his path going home was. I disagree. I mean, after all, I had a street map here, if that might be of help. Oh, yes, thank you. I have a look at this, please. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, Yore Books, it may very well turn out he wouldn't have passed that occasion at all. Could that be true? My, it rather depends on where this other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? Absolutely, it actually could be right. Inspector Gregson, where is this Yore Books establishment? Well, obviously we looked into that. There's not the Yore Books. It's just here in the next corner of Meerschaum Street going east. Hello. And there you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh. My learned Nipponese friend is also a training in being clown. The way he regales us with such witticisms. To your future career in the circus. Gosh, you put the glass down now, or I'll put it down for you. I didn't think I need to spell it out, but here we go. The accused was coming home from your books instead of bourbon books. There's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Unless he passed from Calabash Road to his home. Yes, thank you, Inspector. Allow me to relate what I learned, it's somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. Wherever the man purchases musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. Beg your pardon, there's why we're repeating that. So now, hold on, we mustn't give up. What do you mean? Ah, that's right, we must think. We must consider the prosecution very, very carefully. Yeah, raise an objection, obviously. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map. By returning from Yoribus's lodgings, we suspect could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take place between the two places. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection!
Talking back to a clown's supposed errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way route. Ah, on a cold winter's night, why would anyone choose to take a longer route home? Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. The accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime.
Objection!
But, aha, yes, I got it. Honestly, was asked the man himself, asked Mr. Natsume which route he took home. I have already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection. Ha! That's right, as I said, the dog seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no inspection. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. Ah, awfully convenient. I don't believe this. I thank you, my learned friend. I suggest we don't waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what say you, insightful jurors? But the music. Hold it! I will on my cheeks for her in every way. What? I believe it does this mean. You and the jury are completely convinced now. Very well, in that case I hereby call upon all members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty! Guilty! Guilty!
Oh, that's her voice. Guilty. It appears the jury's leaning is unanimous. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen and country admirably. Mr. Naruhodo. No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I have to advance case and turn this around, somehow. Those eyes are quarry not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. Rights to defense within the antiquated British law that have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated you will, but it's the defense prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses. Very well, counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation examination. I hate that tongue twister. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and his uncle's refusal to throw in this alley. Very well then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you are determined the defendant to be guilty. For pity's sake, that lunatic is already reinvented himself, didn't he? Did he think that the woman could collapse before his eyes? Why couldn't have been the victim? The man wouldn't have gone around the house since way back to the bookshop, not in winter. The poor woman was stuck behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? I got work to be doing. You edit books. It's a nice shot, Cat. But verbal books? No, not worth a visit. With only minor exceptions, the reasons for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear. The stabbing occurred on the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes. Furthermore, we have had the inspector and the defendant had fled the scene. I must say, I have ample grounds to convict this man already. Oh dear, I think the McGills is beard of the guilt now. Ugh, but you have to run away like that. Are you supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? It's impossible. Let me think. Get the floor, Counsel. Begin your summation examination. Yes, my lords. Just need to keep this trial going somewhere, whatever it takes. Come on, Inosuke, you can do it. Hey, Gregson, I can see you in the back. Again, I will reiterate. Tobias Gregson is an excellent inspector at Scotland Yard in the Sherlock Holmes novels. Lestrade was one of the other inspectors in, like, you know, the novels, then became chief inspector. Right, so first up, the person that said he has work to do is like, press on it.
Hold it!
That's too big. A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes. Don't get clever with now, son. Life's on the line too. It's almost like families. Ah. The likes of you would understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. I don't work, I don't eat, and I have the wife and kids. Oh, I see. That must be very hard. I got to go to union every day to find what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right, and center. They have to cheap labor to get the roads dug up and fix it. So hard to log from dawn till dusk, it is. So, you were out digging at the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you? That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just around the corner where it happened, by that old bookshop it was. What? Another coincidence? That's right, Mearsome Street it was. Mearsome Street. What is now though? There are only 3 named streets. To number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please. What's the point of that? Can we just get this business over with now? Please, sir, it's important. Fine, I'll do it then. Let me check the map. Mearsome Street on the corner. Okay, so from 5, let's see. Okay, first up, I'm gonna save here because this could be wrong. Yeah, it's probably wrong. We'll pit jurors 3 and 5 together. Yeah, 3 and 5 together. Because they both reference books outside from, like, you know, there's also juror 6, but like I don't think we can do him yet. Pit.
Objection!
These 2 statements are clearly at odds with one another. At odds, Counsel. Explain yourself. Please, don't point. It wasn't me, I swear. What? I just want to get this done and dusted. Well, juror number 3. Oh, me, sir? What do you mean? Juror number 5's words are extremely insignificant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what have been said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited this bookshop to purchase a number of secondhand books. And on the same day, we now know that there were works being carried out on Meerschaum Street, making it impassable, because his independent route home could not have taken him along Meerschaum Street and down Briar Road. Oh, yes, of course. But what do you think, sir? Well, yes, you can argue with that, really, can you? Must have a good 2 yards or more to put the pavement up. Every gentleman that came along had to turn back and go the other way. So, the only conclusion is this. The dependent must have taken the longer route back to its lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose I must be right, eh? True number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the bookshop on his way from the bookshop, but we see now that he had no choice. Yes! My lord, Mr. Justice, if I may... Yes? I don't think in all good conscience that I can say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened. What about you, sir? Who, me? Well, alright then. There's a hole in the prosecutor's argument to be filled in, that's what I say. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruto. That was wonderful. Well, I managed to change a couple of minds at least to strengthen our position somewhat. I mean, it was by pure luck that because like the randomly chosen jurors were also in the same area. That is okay. They had like at that point they would have been basically replaced because they were pretty much like biased or had a relation to the case. They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if you could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume. You might be able to tip the balance completely. That's exactly what you got to do. Thank you, Counsel. On with the examination, please. Yes, my lord. Okay, so now since we finished that part. Yeah, now we can press him.
Hold it!
Sorry, hold it, you say? Hold what? No, I said was hold it. But what I asked was, did you visit your books often? I like the old books they have there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of tea. That's a daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, during the day you're talking about. And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question? Well, I was picking out books there in the afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, during the day you're all talking about. Just before 5, you say, exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time? Oh yes, no mistake there, maybe it well. Not about to forget the day in a hurry, not after the double time I had. What do you mean? Well, I was walking on Kabas Road when I slipped on ice and dunked my head. Oh, he's the green overcoat. It's always worse when the snow stopped falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. Really thought my number was out. Wait a minute, let me get this straight. This happened on Kabas Road. And that's right, there've been cornpipe, you see. Heading on Kabas Road is the quickest way for you to get back from your books. Juror number 6, I must insist that you add that information to your formal statement. May very well be extremely significant. Sorry, extremely sick. We've changed 2 of the jurors' minds now, though. Yes, there's 2 more to go. The representing vote now, you can turn the tables here. We're telling you how to do this sort of takedown, that's what's words without its supplies for now. Right, we'll save here. Yeah, because again, that juror is wearing a green overcoat again. It's extremely coincidental and also very lucky.
Objection!
Those 2 statements clearly saw a flaw in the juror's reasoning. A flaw? What are you talking about, counsel? Well, juror number 2, juror number 6. My, whatever do you mean, sir? I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable, there's at least one fact of which you can be sure here. The bookshop receipt in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to Yuri Books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot. But the man says he has no recollection of his return journey. That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes. Yes, you are well aware of this. The poor young woman was stabbed, obviously.
Objection!
Objection. Can you really be sure of that, madam? Ma, what did you mean? I'm sure you heard Judge No. 6 account of what happened to him that day. That the same afternoon, there was somebody else apart of the victim who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood. Oh my! My goodness, you mean... That's right, I'm repairing, of course. To hard of hearing juror number 6. Are you really suggesting that the person in the green... Well, they are the same size. I'm not fat shaming, but they are the same size. But the person in the green overcoat who descended saw class in front of his eyes was a jolly old gentleman that at the end of the bench here would be today. That's entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man has a somewhat similar build to the victim. Well, look at that. My goodness me. Sorry, you need a pee. And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell. On Calabash Road. Therefore, the person who Mr. Matsuei collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6. It means the defendant must have been taken the long route back to his lodgings. And that's true then clearly. The crime scene on the Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home. Oh my! Really pointing at the church. You idiot old man. You had been so damn speed roaming out there with a box this up hours ago. Really? What were you thinking? Where's such a big bloody coat? What is it to me? Is it a crime for the elite to walk the streets these days? Is it a crime to slip over the ice? Is it a crime to keep up with the day's trot and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it? What? My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but... You'd like to change your reading, I presume. I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty. Thank you. I would too. What? Is it a crime to change your mind, is it? Well... I do love how they pretty much like do the whole guilty not guilty like the fire stuff. I love the aesthetics of it. Well, the examination has concluded with a rather large sheet in opinion. The eyes 2, the nose 4. So the nose have it, not guilty they say. It seems we no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. The trial will continue.
Objection!
Could it seem churlish of me to drink from my hallowed chalice moments after raising an objection? Only to crush it in disgust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Six. It seems I must retract my earlier remark. What do you mean? I mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have been citizens falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer. Eh? What the hell do you mean?
Objection!
I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I said is the truth. Indeed. Star Juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road as he claims. I believe he said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement was excavated. That's right. Now, my this man, tell me. Do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents? Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no. 2 yards is a little less than 2 meters. Centimeters, that's not possible at all. Yeah, we get it. We're skipping to like, what comes next? Cross in a single sentence. And, old man. Old man, you can talk. You say that around 5 o'clock on the day in question you slipped and fell on Calabash Road. Pray, was there a suspicious looking Nipponese behind you at the time? Oh, I can't say I remember. You don't remember? What a wager, my learned friend. You say it was this old man that you saw. That would lay 1,000 to 1. against you being able to prove it. Ah! Order! Order! Lord Banseeks, explain yourself. My lord, if you had such a trench-cut argument up your sleeve, why in the world did you not proffer it during the summation examination? Well, I wanted to give this young student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. But my hospitality has its limits, and there have been reads, I fear. So, my little friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now open. What are you talking about? My lord, the prosecution requests permission to call its next witnesses to the stand. Ah, yes, my favorite couple in the series. Granted. Bailiff, bring forth the witnesses. Its next witnesses? Mr. Naruto, do you not remember? You've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident. Well, that's taking a while. Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. Constable Riley Beats, sir. Nothing to report on the seat, sir. And I'm Mrs. Beats. But this is my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young town hero's wife. What's the story here? Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. No, it was your husband I was talking about. He seems tired. Oddly surprising. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world. Oh, really? Indeed, apart from rare days off, our gallant officers trot some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check that meters are reading true, and they're responsible for keeping the street clean and lighting and extinguishing our streetlights. There are a number of items on the list that don't sound much like policing duties at all. When this falling asleep on my feet, I had collapsed long ago. But it goes without saying that the policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of its criminals. But when the officer of duty, a constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. But the London Bobby is a man of honor. And a man of slumber. On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction. And they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beat? That's right, sir. Houston, Riley. I'll give her that voice, screw it. Constable Royal Beat, sir. Not in the bottom of the street, sir. Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw in the afternoon of the incident. Yes! Yes, sir. What was I saw? It was our wedding anniversary. And Raleigh was taking me back for a meal. No, that's too high. There's no time to change that to work. Anyway. No, it's too high. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor, then the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over, of course, and then went for help at the nearby police box. It was definitely the Japanese man in the dock. Rolly and I both saw him clear as day. Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say. Oh dear. This policeman and his wife are claiming to have possibly identified Mr. Natsume at the scene. If the testimony is true, the alternative course of events that you established in the summation examination will be quashed. Cost the life a London Bobby sounds very hard indeed. Indeed, however. This cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may have time to rest this afternoon. What do you mean by that? My learned friend, the witnesses saw them based on the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without doubt the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. And one of those witnesses is a policeman, no less, so you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure. The man's so tired, his wife has to do all the talking. Enough preamble. Counsel for the defense to commence the cross-examination, if you please. Yes, my lord. Right, so, we'll just have to... Sure, we'll press order statement.
Hold it!
No time to change after work, you say? Are you also a member of the police, Mrs. Pete? Oh, no. Sadly, it's a chap for strapping young men only. Women, children, the elderly can't even apply. Well, I think I can probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you? I think Raleigh looks so ever so handsome in his uniform. It's usually down to the ground, doesn't it, darling? Well, I just finished my beat. Pat and I were heading back down to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there. Is he talking in sleep? This is creepy. Oh no, Raleigh, I must prepare you in uniform. Sometimes I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy. Kindly adhere to the point. You're going for a meal with the piece of beef for the day, correct? Oh, Pat. Oh, Pat. Oh, Raleigh. And then, can you describe what happened next?
Hold it!
I'm not reading them out loud because, like, I'm resting my voice for a bit. What? Ah, yes, that's right. There were some old books. I see, old books. Yes, sir. The culprit had dropped a number of them all around with the victim lay on the pavement. Indeed, as to be pictured in this photographic print.
Hold it! Hold it!
No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am the private wife of one after all. Is that right, my darling? Well, yes, that's right. I asked Mrs. Beat to go. I was outdoing by that point. My body started really up to the coast, so I thought of lies to taking God's scene. Very laudable, Mr. Beat. Preserving the scene of the crime is a task of considerable importance. That's why I sent Precision, you see. I told her where to find the right police box. Forgive my ignorance, but what do you mean exactly by the right police box? Depends on the crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. But the woman stabbed was exactly on my beat. So I deputized the way to the police box for the beat the incident fell under so she could go and report it. I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There's something more potent than a young couple in love working together, you know. Oh please, you're making us blush, isn't he, darling? Yes, sir. What police has said, sir. Let's move on, shall we? Forgot to press the last one. I skipped it too soon.
Hold it!
But surely you would have been able to see his face with the light of the gas street lamps, would you? We absolutely could. That's louder than successful eyesight, I have you know. Right. The light of the street lamps is more than enough. My husband already told you that fog was only light, didn't he? Ah, yes, what of the fog? They're famous for it across the globe, I believe. But it's out of minutes for those of us who have to live with it, of course. Oh, it is. From the stick, you can even see the hand on the end of your own arm. Yeah, sorry, I take your point now. Could you stop shaking your husband about? The constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, you see. That's why I can tell you for sure and certain that it was a little Japanese man we saw. Can't be, darling. What? Ah, yes. It was accused, no mistake. The monster suspect, the Kala is not must have no. I'm saying, sir. Mr. Liar, sir? Can I ask you something? Oh, yes, of course. What is it? Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything we told you, so... It seems like you don't believe our testimony, is that right? Is it? Well, out with it. What? No, it's not really that at all. My husband's a policeman, remember? And I know what I saw. Every last detail, everything, like... Oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I could have named every single one I could, every single one. And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is? That will do, Mrs. Speed. No, it won't do at all. The Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. We'll decide to keep something out of the name of a minute, probably will. I really mean to cause offense. Please put your husband's fist down. But perhaps you would like the opportunity to supplement your testimony, Mrs. Speed. Might that appease you? Oh, thank you, my lord. That will settle things nicely. Put it, darling. Yeah, I'm saving here because I already see the issue. There are only 3 books that were listed. And, well, she says 4.
Objection!
So, you're saying that there were 4 books? That's right, I remember all of them. The picture demands you somebody, what's his earnings, bill for someone that think of something. I'm sorry, Mrs. Beats. But there's a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours. Oh no, what flaw? To be at the scene of the crime, there are only 3 books, not 4. What? Have a good look at this photographic print at the scene of the crime. It's quite new technology, see? These photographic prints is also in color, very advanced. As you can see, there are only 3 books. But no, that can't be. I saw them. Oh, I know what it is. Yes, you can't fool me. Sorry. It's a big old lump of a dead body. Please, so the arts are close, it's blocking the view of the poor book, that's all. No, I'm sorry, Mrs. Beat. But Mr. Natsume could have possibly dropped the poor books you described. Why not? Fascinating. And from your tone, something you can release out of evidence, I presume. Ah, evidence. Counsel, you will present evidence to substantiate your claim or withdraw it. What proof do you have that the accused did not drop 4 books?
Take that!
The evidence is right here, in the form of this bookshop receipt, from your books. Yes, the receipt details Mr. Nasser's purchases that day, but as you can see, only 3 books are listed. No. Therefore, Mr. Nasser would have only dropped 3 books at the scene of the crime. Which means that your powers of observation cannot be relied upon. Grr. So it cannot be denied that though you saw it was say that it was a pendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken. Oh no, oh no, oh no, no, no. No!
Objection!
It's plainly evident that it is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend. What? What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. In fact, you know very well you have no hope of disproving. Ah, so you shouldn't avert attention for that by its consequential discrepancies. Would that be fair? He's right through me. But your plan is somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple, let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every aspect. Oh, you see, the matter is not up for debate. Alexander Bry wrote a total of 4 books were most definitely found.
Objection!
But what about the photographic print? It only shows 3 books. Quite right, only 3 can be seen in that print. That print? You mean to say... Allow me to present another, one that shows the victim's hand. Objection! There are criminals concealing evidence that's illegal, that's against the law. Oh, looks for her. I don't believe it. It's the 4th book. No. No! Order! Order! Just like I said, isn't it, my darling? Yes, sir, but this is all it's right, sir. Mrs. Beat, the titles once again, if you please. Oh yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur Lecoq. What's its yearnings? Canterbury yearnings. A meal for someone. A meal for Gaboriau, in fact. As the court has just heard, with this relatively book titles policy, save for a few minor details. Mr. Beast's power of circulation can only be described as exceptional. Here, Raleigh, the gentleman paid me a compliment. Yes, sir, flawless, sir, but this is flawless. But there are only 2 books in the sheet, and Mrs. Beast only mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is that which is shown in this photographic print. I'm sorry, Castle, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? It's not odd at all, my lord. As the photography closed, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. Objection! The victim was holding her own book. I wonder what became of that 4th book. Obviously, it wasn't overlooked, but it never investigating opposite Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence. You will submit that in the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, Counsel. My pleasure, my lord. Yeah, we know the scorch mark. Examine that immediately. Oh, look at this! The book has been badly burnt. You're right, you never be able to read in this state, especially not the latter pages. What a terrible waste. Judging by the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. A book. We see damage by fire. Why does it seem to raise a red flag with me? Prosecution rests. I have nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance until now has been vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious longer route to accuse's lodgings that you tried disguising your summation examination, and you attempted discrediting of the business powers of the collection in your cross-examination. Futile, what part does it deny? So, perhaps ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to consider their positions. Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? This trial has run its course. Mr. Naruto, I'm afraid we're in a terribly precarious position. I know, but... Fight back, your mate.
Objection!
I'm not done yet. No, my learned friend, it's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast, there's no more room for debate. Well, it might be over-opinion, but... I can't think what to say. By may, Lord Van Seeks. It seems some of is to close down the debate at this point. The insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. Probably just doesn't have audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh. I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you'll have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Mr. Naruhodo, this is why I ship them. After they're all of age. One of this last great guiding principles is tolerance. So the court will hear you, madam. Go ahead, Mr. Sato, please. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have you all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination has finished. I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked.
Take that!
The basic question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The port book found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
We have already discussed the port book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of time's court. You know. Yes, I'm afraid counsel that must clear the prosecution in this matter. So my suggestion to elaborate counsel, you'll identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear? Oh, yes, my lord. It's, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence, which means you may very well have a chance. Yes, I think you might be right. So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue to this case which the port book conceals?
Got it!
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? Why did you? Good gracious! It's been burnt to a crisp! So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? What of it, my nippiness friend? Oh? Rather to concede the point, if there is no reason to the case, there is something to discuss. So you wish to assert that the spire dance is some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray to enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? Worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer then, Council. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting, that you can ascertain from the fire damage the sword tome has suffered? My lord, the burn at the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner. I beg your pardon, but we only know who the book belongs to. The question of how this book was burned has yet to be answered. However, as the question of who the book really belongs to, where it originated, the defense has very credible answers. Good gracious, how can you possibly? Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay further. But do you remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry. Counsel, the defense response here is likely the principal outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book?
Take that!
The answer is the book belongs to the couple who owned the house where the defendant had its lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garden, the landlords. And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Garden herself. Oh my goodness, me? I think I must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garden's wife. I'm his maid. Things will be much easier if you just drop the pretense. Alright, then how about a simple question for you? Have you seen this book in Mr. Garden's house? I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This outlandish behavior. The woman is the accuser's landlady, you say? You negate the hard-working member of the public, you besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection!
This is not mere conjecture, but the defense happens to know that on the day in question, and also think that the victim was stabbed, another incident was taking place in the room on the top of Mr. and Mr. Gardev's house. Good lord, what sort of incident, Counsel? A fire, my lord. Afraid to say it was. Out in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke, couldn't say a bad thing. Didn't take too long for the fire to spread, of course. The body pressure started going up as well. But as well, I saw my favorite, book called The Lion's Fright. The Lion's Fright. By Jove, the very same title that the subject of this debate. Oh dear me!
Objection!
This is ridiculous. All you thought to vote is the book is the same name was involved in a fire. But in this case, it will be assumed that it was burnt to ashes. Entirely unusable the bird that magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appeared that Mrs. Gardev was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Gardev even amid the plaints. Oh, how awful! I can't ever imagine being so hard to the one you love, can you, Raleigh? Absolutely not, sir! My position would never raise a thing against me, sir! I don't my favorite novel, that was in that case. As soon as the fire got hold of him, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. And the wife started hurling things at me. There was I back against this window under heavy enemy fire, crazy books having bent to the dust. The man held his back against the window and he had burning books thrown at him. Goodness gracious, are you suggesting that the book was thrown to a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No, a thorough investigation in the surrounding area was conducted very in the incident, and there is no report of the Garden's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garden household. But is it not concealed that the window was open at the time in? Not even remotely. Let's not forget the season, and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. That's the best possible scenario in all seriousness, Council. Do you honestly claim that the book part of the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Guidance White? I believe it's a possibility, my lord. It's quite enough. Well, I hope that ever could see you together. Now, you little foreign trickster. Because of a lawyer, you're just a coward. I mean, coward. Really? Clearly, the little people set out to the limit of a lie, honestly. If I did not merely posing as a mere prepare sake, how could you? Nothing to do with this BC case, not everything. All you did is sully our family's name. No, I assure you that was never my intention. Tagging out something sensitive to the name to the mud to put attention to your failing defense. I said, book sure is just what I do. It's utterly unforgivable. Too right. Here we go. How long have we sat here now? This is just fucking expanding. How long have we sat here now? This is snipping is funding out its spazzy foreign theories. But think about it. At the end of the day, the only bit that could possibly even stab the victim is that little hunchback with a mustache who ran away from the scene too. I do declare you're right. Well, it will appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Bansis? In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then, one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait! The fourth book still hasn't been... If books are written, my little friend, study them on your own time. What? Don't forgive this courtesy this time? Ahem, in that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear. Guilty.
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 Guilty. Guilty.
Thank you for that unambiguous response. Twice that's over. You're not suggesting... Are you sure? I don't think we can do twice. My lord, the defense asks you to exercise its right to summation examination. Again. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve. I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to cover the truth. I mean, it's a good place to end it. It's been 1.5 hours. You know what? Screw it. This might be the end, so we'll keep at it. I have considered the defense counsel request for a prior examination of the jury, and I have determined that this court must uphold the defense judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman. They are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, did he? Those 3 books of his. Well, the evidences are correct. It would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I don't see how it could be argued at any other way. Yes, I'm afraid. This during examination is essentially the size and other tangible explanation for the facts. Scared of.
Hold it!
Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case? Could you tell us more about that fire? It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. Had 75 candles on top of it. We had decided before it was. You put candles on the cake. What was it come to devil, was it? Of course, it's an angel cake. Celebrate my birthday, obviously. It seems it's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, I must have my pot to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out and the candles were flying all over the room. The birds were caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke. And when the sneeze is feeling cold, but how do you catch a cold from a fire? But Piasco was to grasp the person through other means and tried to put out the flames. Then because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, you had to blow out the windows to clear it. Right, so again, like, it seems like common sense because, like, you know, when there's a fire or, like, a smoke building up in the room, you open the windows to air it out. Hitting you.
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict one another.
They do? How exactly, Counsel? Don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me. What does that say? Speak up, lad. Speak up. Do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Do you hear Julius understands like Hanabis' birthday celebration last year? It seems that by being a Londoner, he wants to open his windows in the middle of winter. Well, yes, of course, because of an emergency. I mean, honestly, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh! Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Gardeb household. And Mr. Gardeb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke. Oh, my hat! Therefore, to clear the smoke, either Mr. Gardeb's wife will certainly open the window. That you cannot die will be in no way out. No, I suppose it wouldn't. No, I suppose it wouldn't.
Excuse me!
Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Mrs. Gardeb. Oh, dear me! What is the meaning of this? How do you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? Is it better to compare something to the court? So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpeted bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? Oh, alright then, yes, you're right. My husband was frankly trying to open the window. It's kind of easy, it's like just see there's a book battering. Even though your house is on fire. Oh, you never start throwing until the anger subsides. You would tell it better than there's new advice. Of course, until you realize.
Hold it!
You just want to get this over with.
How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. What? What? Well, wait, but I can't quite remember. Sorry. Through writing this thing, must have blocked it out. Okay, then we go to Garda, because again, it's like a marital dispute, so of course it can be related.
Hold it!
The board book found things with very awesome signs of fire damage. The title of the book is The Lion's Pride, the same title and back as the book that Mr. Garda told us he had been reading. Huh. Well, I could you can say. I did. I started enjoying reading it, you're right. Why did you not reveal it at the range of the court? Because I couldn't use it in the man, I don't remember. Let's like that, you pick up control whenever it came out of your hands, that's all you know. I really don't. But I know to destroying a book, much as the title of it.
Excuse me.
What is it, juror number 5? You know something? I remember what it was, the memory I blocked out. Ah. It was listening to what this granny was saying, but it all flooding back. Oh, why are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? I'm this guy with the mail, have you know? When Stephen Flint's. It was about 2 weeks ago now. It's home after work, I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I just earned that day and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out. Oh dear, what a disaster. You hadn't heard half of it, boy. Oh? The wife was cooking up some chicken at the time. I could get the words out, but I told her straight I lost a day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whizzing past my ear, stuck into the wall next to me, it did, about an inch deep. No words, just tear. Now, it's a real disaster, isn't it? Just when Muslims are rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it. It's not harder. Right. We'll pit you.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly have deeply a significant connection. Good grief, you mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once. For number 2, do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as how the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? You demonstrate that the board book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garrett's room at the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrett house into the street below. What's that now? After all, Mr. Garrett could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, Mr. Juror number 4? What are you insisting on, you little beanpole? Now you sit here, Eastern Gala. As a former juror, I demand a straight answer. You go to shout about some other object, make it say at his house? What was it? Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain to the defense's theory. The other object that found its way into the crime, its way from the guarded house into the scene of the crime was...
Take that!
Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrett. What? What now? I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Ah! The good Lord, Counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was not in the victim's back, man. My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett were in the throes of an argument. Mr. Garrett was throwing everything she could have when had been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene. You can't seriously believe that the book was found in the victim's grasp. Are you saying that it flew out of the window and across the street to land neatly in the hand? How? Mr. Yes, I admit there may be this you don't understand. That's the point. That's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Oh my. Ah, Mrs. Garrett, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh, ah. Sorry, I'll wait for. Oh. My lord, I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word at all. Thank you, madam. Yes, I agree. I sort of didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for the sire to come out and answer many unanswered questions. It's a foreman. I have to agree. Not that I think that Brian didn't mind. Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at all either. All together now, ladies and gents. I don't think there should have been like two summation examinations before like one trial, so this is a record in like for the history books. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo. So, as a result of the examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. Two jurors called guilty against four now calling innocent. Accordingly, the option in this court is divided, and this trial will continue. Now then, Lord Van Cease, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? Here you go, being smug as always. This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. Like a cork wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. But what follows is so repugnant is good for nothing save the gutter. If I may, Lord Batsix, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The best arguments and jokes which I barely know how to respond, but then start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. Right, that's clear. What do you mean by that? My lord, might I be allowed to speak? As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense. Yes, go ahead. The prosecution may consider the idea a fantasy, but what the defense has prosecuted was feeble enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, juror number 4, Mr. John Gaddett, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror? Order! 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 Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprotected for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
And unnecessary. What say you, witnesses? Yes, sir. Constable Roy Beard, reporting for duty, sir. Well, good morning, officer. Sorry for those here until now, sir. I've been set for a month because I've been suspended my beat, sir. Oh, they are so heroic, these London bobbies. Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Raleigh, my hero, you make me swoon. Very well, I hereby reject the defense's request. Oh? In order to witness stand, testify again. This case has nothing to do with Mrs. and Mrs. Cadet. Believe me, a London Bobby has good first word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the guided house are top hidden casements. Honestly, if anything had been thrown out the window, we all had seen it. I didn't need the same to go pet's help. My trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. Of course, sorry. Sorry if I'm skipping it a bit, I just want to get into the cross-examination, because I can really tell where it's going. Counsel, if your jacket is upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination. My lord.
Hold it!
How can you say that for certain? A very good question, sir. And the answer is this. There's no founding principles of the force written on it that's reminded of all policemen of our sworn duty. Oh, Pat. Oh, Raleigh. I wasn't planning on going back to set, I just arrived here. To that end, sir, I've had to lend you my run card to pay out perusal. Okay, so I think there's press here.
Hold it!
Yes. They have seen the crimes on the side of the right road. How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garda's house is furnished with?
Excuse me!
Do you have something to add, Mrs. Pete? Huh? Sorry? You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. You really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean?
Well, of course I feel terrible to the woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. Oh, I didn't realize. Oh yes, that street Briar Road. That's the boundary between Roy's beat and the next one. Is that right, my love? Constable beat. Oh, yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with the inbreeding arguments of the Garden household yesterday. Their house is on my beat, you see, sir. That's really coming close then. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Garden house is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mrs. Garden's house? Yes, ma'am. I'll say that that side road is part of my beat. I see, I wasn't aware of that. Just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's not to the Bobby after all. Now we press remaining statements. That was the only other next thing we needed to solve.
Hold it!
Again, I'm sorry, I'm just like, my throat is hurting right now. It's like, uh...
Hold it!
Nothing to report. That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. I can swear that the odds are others, sir. Really? That seems a little strange. Can I ask you something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir. Oh, yes, of course. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? Again. I can tell. What? I wasn't, what's he doing? Please, this is a woman that's in my testimony and in as valuable. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? Yes, Mrs. Feet, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes, the path of least resistance is the sage one. That was a very loud mutter.
Hold it! Excuse me.
Castlebeat, is there a problem? No sir, no problem sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, well, in a way, sir, yes sir. I was just wondering the same thing happened that evening is all. You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident? Well, you see, I set out to find a police officer in the next beat over from mine. But it's gone a fair bit longer than I was expecting. I thought she'd be back in time 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15. Oh, Raleigh, you're such a tease.
The reason so long because of the bouquet, silly. The bouquet?
Hold it!
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. And I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked, I thought the bouquet Roy gave me. It was like a dark spot with the streetlights weren't casting any lights, so I didn't notice it was. And then you went to the police box to report it to the police on whose beat it was on. Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. The worst is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. The people rose brawling about me, and that change for the gutter he spent so long collecting. By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose? Oh, yes, that's it. That's a bouquet Raleigh bought me for our anniversary, with all bits of chains he found in the gutter. I just called a rose. Tell us, Lord Bansi. Tell us, Lord Bansies, where did you come by the flower? According to the report, by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation. It was found at the edge of the pavement in front of the Gyardeb household. In front of the Gyardeb's house. Although it was noticed until morning, so to say whether the street lamps cast no light. Now I think we're convinced this rose to be added to the court record as evidence. Oh. But it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial, do you hear me? I want it back. Good grief. Let's register that to the let's not forget this beat. And on that, let's present.
Objection!
You claim, Constable B, that there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes regarding the scene. But that cannot be. What? What do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Miss Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime, the police assigned to the beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the bit inside was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of that meager bouquet that Singer Sorry Bloom could be described, no doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back to the gutter where it belongs. Meager?
Objection!
But if that were the case, why did Consul Beat not testify to the fact? No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Consul Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way around. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Miss B's bouquet, there's Mr. Garrett's book. Mr. Garrett's copy of The Lion's Pride was thrown out the window by his wife. Would obstruct the pane of the casement window landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we'd heard, Miss B's bouquet so it's been dropped here on the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's house. There's no logical explanation for those things, and that somebody deliberately moved them. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Raleigh's done something wrong. Don't you see how well that scrawny lawyer says? I call it nitpicking, Miss Scarlet, but there being meddling with the scene of the crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tampering, Mr. Naruhodo. But the person responsible with its tampering cannot admit to it, for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Tampering? You've already heard that term before. Tell us, my little friend. Who would possibly have had the cause to carry out such an elaborate reception? Yes, there's someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points at one particular person. Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime?
Take that!
Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rolly Beat, it was you. What? A policeman? A member at Scotland Yard? Goodness, why would my Rolly do something like that? Someone straighter my husband. Nobody works more tirelessly with the people of London. Mrs. Beat, you surrendered the testimony.
Objection!
If that was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it.
Objection!
First you make ask. Tap with. Castle, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you're mistaken, I'm sorry I need to point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering. Yes, my lord. Theme was to hide. Where the victim fell. Where the victim fell to the ground. That's what his body tried to cover up at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We got up there to start, didn't we? On the Pain and Briar Road, we saw it happen, remember? It was right here. I said anyone else didn't really know. That's what everyone was led to believe, but in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What? That's what certain that the court is dying to know, my niblies friends. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening?
Take that!
But that's on the opposite side of the road. I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Gardner's book fell directly down from the open window above, and your bouquet, Miss B, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself. Good gracious!
Objection!
Perhaps I've been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the Interpol ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. He then raced me to Algebra while I was sending you for help. And within minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. Move all the things on his print, the victim, herself, the 4 books. Move everything back to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road. Extraordinary! The constable overlooked one thing. What would he overlook? The bouquet, I presume? Exactly. The prosecution told the court a few moments ago that this was discovered that was bouquet. Lord Van Sink said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay with the street lamps cast no light. Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously. Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position, that was found in its original position on the pavement of the west side of Briar Road. Oh well, I'm very sorry.
suppose. Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all. Good, good golly. Order! Wanna know the meaning of all this? Oh, Raleigh, why? Why would you do something like this? I mean, of course, it's a criminal offense, isn't it? Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London town. I can't say, sir. What? Really, I'm so sorry about this. For damaging the reputation, for everything. I have a possible explanation. For why on a particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason. But how could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, seem to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. And yet, Lord Ben seeks. We will be best in the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel of the defense, if you please. Yes, my lord. Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan, and Middle East, people are the same. I think I have a very good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. What gives away the motive for Constable Beast's unthinkable actions?
Take that!
I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I've only just arrived from Japan. That's why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that through honorable patrol, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example. Keeping the peace is always one of the Bobby's most important ways. It's so that the day on Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly. But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special? How? On account of this bouquet, my lord. Sorry about that. Oh yes, it was our very first wedding anniversary. Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife. I was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal. When me and Miss B stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. They saw the shadowy figure through the fog clouds of the pavement ahead of them. What must have gone through the man's mind? This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend me earlier. Inside among the rules of patrolling policemen it says, when a crime is discovered, on its beat, a policeman must assist in little investigations and assist detectives. Constable Beat. Is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. Everything you said, it's alright. So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat. Oh, exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat. Good gracious, Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done? It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever catch God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. But then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, with the victim was slain, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, the policeman must assist with the internal investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? Why tonight of all nights? Why? It's a copper's job to guard the crime scene of the crime, so I told Patsy had to go to the nearest police box to fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then when I opened my mouth to speak. It just came out. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted Just that one night to take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, Raleigh. Just that one night. You knew that incense wisdom was on your beat. Your evening of celebration will be ruined. So you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street, to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. I beg your pardon. Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, why Ollie would never let that poor woman on the freezing cold pavement? Ah, I see your meaning now. But God gave me back for my sins, did he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. And Roy saw my pot. Oh, 4 it was, yes sir, definitely 4. She didn't help by Miss Nassau, the poet being the one that fell with the witness of spares. But... Oh well sir, that's because that's how I found it. That's how you found it? What do you mean? When we pressed her out at the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. You sure it was this book? My lord. Yes, Lord Van Six. I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir. What will become of my Raleigh? What will happen to him? For now, you're free to go home. The police will contact you in due course. Please don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. One last thing, Constable. Sir? Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime. Never again, sir, you mean to say? Leave now. This trial's not yet over. Sir! Well, quite a starting of a relation, I must say. We're talking about a third party transferring the entire scene of the crime like that. Indeed, my lord, nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here, principally. That the accused, Mr. Sasaki Natsume.
Objection!
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who will be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is already pretty well aware of this possibility already. Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecutor has no objection to such witness.
Take that! Objection! Objection!
I don't recall it. Seriously? Conveniently, yes.
Objection!
No, I have no reason to say that at all, juror number 4. Oh? Make no mistake, you jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the digital process. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out. But that's the common garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. That's what I did at home if one of them missing. What do you need to know? What's that? Are you joking? What are you saying? Please, Skyler. Not used to be. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I could have better thought that I injured someone. Maybe I couldn't bear it. Take the stand, juror. Oh! The prosecutor does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord Banseas. I could not testify. Juror number 4, I sincerely appreciate having observed with your own eyes today. With this testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed, due to which the witnesses themselves may not even be aware. What about today, we shall extract the truth. You concur, Countess? Certainly, my lord. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. There he goes, the man's finally becoming his own man. Oh, I didn't know you were here, John. Wasn't all you in that room that day, old thing, was it? I think I'll testify as well, don't you? But what do you need, dear? Don't you worry about that. I'll be notice it. Not all chat to leave a comrade face displaying action alone. Oh, John. Don't tell him. Yes, sir. For second lieutenant and third lieutenant of the fourth Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. Right, lad. We're not engaged in any battle to spouse on the day in question. Well, yes, I haven't quite. They one side, so it seems. Very well, Castle. Begin your cross-examination. Save here. Right, so we need to first know if she can remember what she, like, you know... true.
By Jupiter! Excuse me!
Do you have something to add, sir?
Mr. Garden. Don't shoot. Sorry. What did you get, pardon?
Did you once remark that I'll bring something to mind?
Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrels of projectiles holding lost in my direction was somehow more solid than she applies. Books breaks the fire poker I seem to recall. Ouch. And the one's aim is uncanny, so I need to hit him at her. Good grief, we're not at home now. There's a court of law.
Oh dear me, I'm so sorry, dear.
Well, take a look at this set. At least what's this happened, Yo, pipes, eh? I had the thing in my hands, he saw at the time of the onslaught. I could clean one for a slot projectiles to it, yes. And when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I like to see the sponge do that sort of damage. I see, your pipe was broken. Yeah, it's important. The defense police, Mr. Garda's remarks are sound to be of great significance.
Objection!
In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Huh? Well, I don't see why not.
Oh, dear me, there you go again, trying to create this of your young lady.
Very well. The culprit said the gentleman's pipe was evidence.
Right, examine it. Oh, hello. Could be. Open it, thank you. Oh, look here, Mr. Wait, part is missing. Could be wrong, but I got a feeling. Remember this? Ah, that's a tiny fragment of metal that we found inside Mr. Gaida's pipe. Yes, and just maybe. Oh my, it's a perfect fit. Just knew it.
Objection!
Mr. Gardeb, could I actually take a good look at this, please?
You can ask, but I can't see a bloody thing.
You can't?
He's calling me dead dead back in the regiment course. That's some time ago now. When I was trying to enjoy that spring book by the fire these days. I try to tell B from D and P from Q, to be honest.
Read thus, Journey. It's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word. You must be buried this.
What is that? A tiny scrap of metal?
Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garda's pipe.
My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got there.
What precisely does the spectre of better signify, Captain? Stating that it's somewhat related to the stabbing in Briar Road? I am.
What?
When put together with another piece of evidence in the court's record, I believe signed a better matter of the pure piece of proof, my lord. Regardless of percent of knife, aren't we? Come on, we don't need to.
Take that!
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you can see there's a small piece at near the tip missing. Common issue with the period blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals use them regularly, leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones. And what of this particular knife?
Objection!
No, that's not the case. The tip of the particular knight's blade is a very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Gadget's pipe. Ah!
Ugh. Good grief. Lord Van Seat. Believe it. The knife and the crime scene extracted metal are a perfect match. Good golly gosh! Golly gumdrops. Eat it.
Yes, I'm a fan of Downton Abbey. I don't regret it. Order! 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 Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery?
It's no magic, my lords. This is a miracle.
A miracle?
The Banshees has figured it out, has he?
Counsel, explain yourself at once. Yes, my lord. When did the platinum metal find its way inside Mr. Garda's pipe? Something described to us in the most recent witness testimony.
Oh, dear me. Turn down between the two between the pain flow. This caused a tip to break up. Of course. Good lord! Yes, and that's when the tiny tip at the blade found its way inside Mr. Gadget's pipe. The chances of that are a million to one. And yet, there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the land ricocheted off the pipe and flew out the open window. Ah! In short, the snipe was spilled from the window of Gadget's house. It's the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back of the street below. No!
Objection!
Apple by a theory, I give you that. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, possibly arranged to create almost passable bintics. Allow me to toast my learned friend's courteously pleased approach to bottling his argument. It's bullet by insurmountable inconsistency. Lord Batsix, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her Were you anything surprised? Okay, he picked up the book. He was crouched. It's literally Turnabout Big Top. It was like, the ringmaster was crouched, was opening press at the chest, was huddled over it, and then got struck by the bust. Where is it? Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and the theory will stand. Mr. Sato, you must worry, Mr. Naruto. You were just caught off guard, that's all, and your mind went blank. If the path you were on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is the code track that I'm sure. All the information you need is there.
Objection!
Yes! If the knife found the victim from above, there's no way it could hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying? Cancel? There is a piece of incident code record that can explain this inconsistency. Then explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. You already have the answer. Goodness! Utter madness. Pretty much see it today. Cancel. Present the evidence of which you speak. This, the port book found at the scene. This is a final piece of evidence the pencil will present. The burnt book. It's the cornered music. Oh, no, it's the objection music. Is that not Mr. Garadam's book? Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. As we all know, no. That's true, however, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement at that point. Oh well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. When you pressed out of the scene, the victim was already holding the book, so when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hands. In other words, the victim already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound. Well, I should say so. I'd been attacked with a knife, but the man should have been doing much of anything. So the question becomes, why did the victim have that in her hand? By Jinga! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now. Oh, dearie me. We know that the book fell on the top floor of the guarded house under the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, and all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her. The book I threw. Yes, Mr. Garden. What do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you in the pavement? Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down and picked the book up. Yes, that's exactly what the woman back did. She picked up the book. Oh heavens! When the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, the very moment, when the woman was still bent over picking up the book, the next object fell from the room above the jackknife straight into the middle of her back. And at the same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, was the dependent Mr. Saseki Natsume. Well, I never! It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling from above. And from the other direction. The constable and his wife saw no one but the victim in her apparent attack. So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, there was something more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. I love it. We get to see band scenes clustered for once. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garden. Very first time you saw me that night, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that. There they all been. Oh, Mrs. Garden. Of course, I never meant for anything like that to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? I take full responsibility. Let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And I threw the knife as well. John dear, it's alright. No. I'm so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry! Or his back is burnt. Lord Van 6. What news of Mrs. Garden? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events have left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There is no cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily have been a terrible tragedy. They still had to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions. There is some good news, however, my lord. I have just heard word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon. Strange. How wonderful! The woman is out of danger, it seems. Yes, that is good news. So, Mr. Saseki Natsume. Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. No, it is me who should be begging your pardon. Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes. I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? I was sure that the woman was dead. Yes. It's been a year now since I arrived in Great Britain now. But still I can just alive here. I can't relax. Instead, I managed to create a rip in the relationship of trust between the two empires. And with that, I am truly sorry. One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were fooled by the spirit and had to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Seeks and our long lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken and the spirit exorcised. I highly commend you both. Oh. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time of your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As a member of the jury, I can assure you we reached a fair and just conclusion. I do declare that you can be extremely cruel at times. Well, I don't expect the one next to me, that's for sure. Sitting in front of the old being was a salvation, but I know what the decision would be. This is me, I'll be able to get out of here without work, was about time. I say, never cool. Crap, sorry that the grandchildren get well wanted. Very well. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Very well. Mr. Sahin Nasme, I hereby pronounce you. Yeah, I knew it was I knew it was something we could do that we'll be able to finish it now. It didn't take another hour though. We could done just 1.5 hours. I really get 3 hours. And finally, Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, Lord Sir. You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me. Oh, yes, sir. Of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set foot in the courtroom again. I transported 2 tears. Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. Oh, locum. Wait, you mean me? Of course, there's another locum here. Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Nasme is delighted. Again, I'm not reading his lines because my voice is gone. It's throbbing right now. Ah, there you are, my dear fellows. I apologize for keeping you waiting. I was late this morning. Oh, Mr. Holmes, what a pleasure to see you. I see I am here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh. The trials will begin presently, Mr. Nahodo. And I wish you the very best of luck. It's just finished. What? No! Then my haste was in vain? Wow! It's you! Sherlock Holmes! Oh, have we met, sir? This is Mr. Natsume, the man you arrested, Mrs. Holmes. Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. I appear to encounters have taken place in the gloom, and your bleak lodged in that prison cell. Give you a piece of my mind. Okay, sir, but I see I had placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that pure young lady and ran off, are you not? Ah. Has he been taken to the hospital urgently? I appear perhaps you have regained consciousness by now. Oh. But it was not believable, sir. You are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. I do feel very badly about how I behaved. Well, never mind then. Now then, what else did you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Priceless. Oh, I'm sorry, really, but that was quite priceless. Who was the Seki-san? Still, on the bright side, you hadn't still need anything experienced without paying a penny. And it would seem you were not even found guilty. But there is no bright side. What do you mean, Miss Natsume? Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper. Ah, Lord Van Seats. I haven't forgotten, you know. It will be alright, Miss Natsume. Thank you. Hey, yeah, why are we getting taken down? With a perfectly executed Susato takedown. Much as I like being turned my head, a bit of warning might be nice next time, Susato. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? Is something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan? Yes, I intend to return to my homeland. It's already been years since I have been Great Britain. I've visited universities since I've reached bookshelves. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I learned so much about the world of literature here, and the city has its shape. The country life is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it. That's very touching, Mr. Natsume. Oh, and perhaps less veiled terms. You wish to withdraw halfway on the road to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse. That's not it at all! The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling crosses my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and intend to pen a work of my own. A fun fact, I actually never had said this in the entire of episode 4. And I really said brought this up. Our dependent Natsume Soseki or Soseki Natsume is an actual historical person. I literally only figured that out. He was like, how could I not have figured it out? Us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustachioed compatriot? Why would we? A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel as though we have finally found our feet. And you're not accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? That's right. But we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us. I calculated that we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted. Well then, you could take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room. But it lacks in windows. And one that makes up for with a floor, a ceiling, and walls. Great. Leave behind the cursed evil spirit. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me? Really? Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it's up to the attic, I might add. Are you sure it isn't just a storage lot? I spoke with the landlady this morning on the matter of price. And Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. Oh, by landlady, do you mean, she's a major character in like the novels. Can't remember. You must come at once. I presume you have no longer to speak up. Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to take lodgings in the great detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words. So suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume, I insist. I don't know what to say, but thank you. And yes. Wonderful. And let go and read the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long. Lokun, I knew that you wouldn't let me down. Successful order. Well, my dear fellow, a carriage appears to have arrived. So you go, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Mr. Holmes. I will doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, with Sasage's son's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Holmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. So this is to be our new office, yes. Our office, but I like the sound of that. Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it? I hope you can see it, Kazuma. It's only a small step, but I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. My dear fellows, do you like the place? Ah, Mr. Holmes. Yes, thank you so much. It's a delightful room, Mr. Holmes. I simply adore it. Good, I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. Well, eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. Alright then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad. Splendid. So, Miss Naruto, how's it feel? To have your own office in the capital. It's very exciting, actually. I can't help but wondering what adventures await us. Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office in these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry. London's a joyous place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. With the brightest of lights cast the darkest of shadows. Why, my young lad, I'm referring to Jack the Ripper, of course. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So, once again, Miss Naruto. Welcome to London. Of course, at the time, I had no idea the significance of those words Mr. Holmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. We assume they did cases in, like with normal Ace Attorney, we assume they did cases in between, like, each major case. That's it, and I think this is the final episode for the first game in the duology, The Adventure of This People's Story. And with that, we're leaving it here today. Thank you for watching, and well, I probably could have planned this for, like, another stream. Probably should do that again. From the point. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again on Wednesday. Bye!